So even if you didn't know scientific notation, you could look at answer choice A and answer choice E as outliers. This is the only one that is raised to a -9. If you didn't know what that did, you can at least see that none of the others are raised to a negative number. So it's an outlier. It's really different. They typically throw those in to just try and fool students who don't have any idea what to do with the question. If you're going to guess, you can typically remove the ones that are just obviously outliers. And answer choice E is also an outlier because it is 137 times 10 to the 15, where all of the others are 1.37. So you could probably remove this one because it's not in the same format-ish as all of the others, and that would reduce it down to guessing among these three, but at least you've increased your odds by eliminating 2. Now you're guessing, is it 10 to the 7, 10 to the 8, or 10 to the 9? So at least that might give you a little bit of help. Let's take a look at the problem. The problem says we have this big number, 670 million plus 700 million. There's 2 ways that you could address this, and they want you to put it into scientific notation. Let's do what I think is the easier way first. You would add these. Now, if you added them manually, like I'm doing here, then I hate it when you have to copy stuff down. You can miss. So that's 0, 0, 0, comma, 0, all 3 more zeros, and then 7 and 13. All right. When you're doing scientific notation, the commas actually get in the way. So now you would just count back. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this would become 1.37 times 10 to the 9. And there it is right there. Now notice, it doesn't matter how many numbers other than 0. This could be 1, 3, 7, 6, 5, 4, 8, 6. I mean, if that just kept going like that, that's fine. They don't have to be zeros out here. You're still going to count back that number of spaces and put your point right there so that there's only one number to the left of the decimal. In this case, it's a 1. All right, so that's one way to answer it. Another way would have been to convert each of them into scientific notation first. So you have this number right here, 670 million. We could take 670 and convert that into, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6.7 times 10 to the 8. And then we have this number, 700 million. It's the same number of places, so we should be able to say that's going to be 7.0 times 10 to the 8th, because we're dealing with the same number of places as this one. And then both these numbers are times 10 to the 8th. We can just add them. But this gets a little bit tricky, and this is why I don't like this method as much. I like this method up here that we did before, where we added them and then did the exponent. It comes out to 13.7 times 10 to the 8th. But if you look at your answer choices, you don't have one in that format. And the reason for that demonstrates what I was talking about before, that true scientific notation requires there to be only one number and then the decimal. So you have to then move this one more place to put it into true scientific notation, and then it becomes 1.37. And since you moved it that one more place, that 8 becomes a 9. So that's good practice anyway with scientific notation. Now here's another thing that could have happened when you were doing this if you used a calculator. If you didn't do this manually, like I did right here, if you put 670 million plus 700 million into your calculator, you might have gotten something like this as your answer. And this is calculator speak for scientific notation because it didn't have enough spaces in the vertical orientation here of my calculator to put it into 1,370,000,000. So it put it into scientific notation. And this E right here, that just means the power 10 to the 9. So that's 10 to the 9. So it's 1.37 times, so that E means times 10 to then the number here, 10 to the 9. So that you'd have been done. If you knew how to read your calculator, you could have 1.37 times 10 to the 9, go up here, 1.37 times 10 to the 9, and I'm done. All right, that's scientific notation. Hopefully that helped.